Welcome, everyone, to episode 27 of the Pinnacle Combat Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jim, and Dano. It's Noche time, baby.
Oh, I know. This one, dude, I know a lot of people had I shouldn't say a lot, but I know some people had some criticism about what the card looked like as far as like, I guess maybe star power names, which I don't really agree, but I kind of get what they're kind of getting at. But if you look at this card top to bottom, I think this fight card is going to be one of those cards you look back and just be like, dude, every fight was just an absolute scrap. I think there's some, especially on the prelims, there's some that are looking, I can't wait to see how this card unfolds.
Yeah, especially with what, well, I don't know. You know me, man. I'm as much as I love UFC and fighting, and that's the reason why we're doing this podcast. I love creative, like, I don't know, I can't wait to see how they put it all together. Like, you're
gonna love this tonight, yeah. You're gonna, especially just to,
yeah.
It's
like
gonna
from
be
front to back. Like, I want to see how they integrate everything and how they, because apparently there's like chapters to it.
Like movies, I think I heard.
Yeah, there's like movies in between fights and chapters, and then there's Easter eggs that people are. I guess Dana White put, I don't even know how many he said. I don't even know if he said how many, but there are little hidden Easter eggs throughout the whole show. And if someone finds all of them, they win $25,000. But then again, we don't even know what we're looking for, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be drinking and with a heavy edible, so I don't think I'll be the good guy to help you with the Easter hunt. You know, I'll just be kind of staring into the screen like, this is cool. That's pretty much what I'm going to do.
Yeah. You'll be the Easter
bunny.
bunny.
I'm excited for it. Yeah. I'll just be dressed up in a suit. You're like, what the? How'd you find a full body Easter suit? I'm like, oh, you know, it's fear, dude. Noche, baby. But this is just one of those cards where I think I might actually, I think for the first time ever. Usually, what I'll do is I'll always rewatch fights the next day, the next morning. But you skip to them. This might be the first time I might just hit play and watch it all over again.
Oh, you know what I was thinking yesterday too? Because they're doing this whole front to back, event where everything matters. I think it'd be smart for them to release this like a month later on YouTube for free and just have people watch it over and over again. That way, if people are curious about the Easter eggs, that's one thing. If it's going to be a one and done thing and they're never going to do this again, which I don't believe, but if it is either. Then why not just release it for everybody to watch? Like he said recently, I don't know if you saw this, but he wants this event to, and I don't even know if this is possible, but to win a Grammy, an Oscar, and an Emmy. Like he wants it to be that good, So if it's that good and you put $20 million into this thing, and it's supposedly going to have the highest gate and like all this stuff. Why not just release it for everybody to watch over and over again? Give that to the fans.
Hopefully, eventually that's what they do.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Hopefully they do that. Yeah. But I heard they have like multiple directors, or like I guess they're going to go probably for more so the creative side, right? Like, but that'd be wild if you just see the director of what's that guy from the Avatar movies, James Cameron. Mm-hmm. It's like, what the fuck? You're doing this?
That'd be nuts. Imagine that.
Dude, it might happen, dude.
Scorsese.
There's just like a random mob thing. You're like, what?
Dana White would get Scorsese. He's like, I want the mob director. Let's go. I don't know how this is going to factor into Mexican independence, but you're on the job.
Get Tarantino.
Yeah.
People in the crowd are getting killed. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
That's funny. Dude, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for this card. I know before we get to the card, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about before, because we haven't done an episode in a couple weeks. That's my fault. I want to apologize. Had a long couple weeks. My girlfriend got home from Europe. Football started. I was really excited about football, so there's that.
Time difference as always. We make it work, but it is an issue. It is a thing,
Yeah, especially with football now. It's like NFL football starts at 10 a.m. on my side. So it's like I'll just have to wake up early to do some of the post episodes and stuff. But that's that shouldn't be a problem.
The big ones,
And
just the big one.
me, I don't need to watch the first quarter of football. I'm okay with that. But we'll
But you
figure
could
it
have
out.
it muted in the background while we record. Like
Oh yeah, that too.
It's not going to really, it's not a playoff game. It's not a Super Bowl, so it's not going to take up too much. It's more like just a quick glance when you see something. But
Yeah. And
no, I agree.
Work's
That's
been
a
a
big
lot
one, man.
lately. Like the only other guy I work with got laid off.
Oh,
So
it
now
stinks.
it's all the work's on me. So it's like at the end of the day, I'm like, I have no energy for anything. Like I'm just, yeah, it's crazy. But it'll be fine. We'll be back week to week like we usually do. It's not that we won't take a break ever again. Sometimes we just want a week off, or it doesn't make sense, or whatever. So
Oh yeah.
it's okay. I don't want this to feel like a job, anyways. I want to do it as consistently as we can, but sometimes we need a week off, week or two off. It's fine. But I did want to apologize for that because I do love doing this. It's been a couple weeks. But so what I wanted to get into, big news. I know we're 6 minutes in right now, but big news. Last night they announced, or Dana White and the UFC announced, that Michael Chandler is done waiting for Conor McGregor, and they gave him Charles Oliveira 2 at Madison Square Garden, UFC 309. Dan, that's crazy, and I can't wait for that fight. What is your initial thoughts, and how pumped are you for that announcement?
Oh, I love that fight. I love the rematch. I loved it when it was first announced. Like I was telling you, I do think that's what makes Michael Chandler such a fan favorite, because this is not obviously he's already lost, so it's not crazy for me to say this. Well, it is kind of crazy, but this is just a tough fight for him stylistically. This is a very tough matchup in the division. I think if they fought 10 times, just Oliveira poses all the right problems for a style like Chandler,
Mm-hmm.
just long. He can submit you. He can knock you out. He can just do anything just about. And he loves when you're aggressive. And that's pretty much what Chandler is. So that's why that fight was so great. But it's also why, that's tough, because Oliveira just seems so willing to go into the fire. Remember early in his career when it seemed like sometimes you don't want to say he would quit, but he would take certain shots that you just tell he really didn't like, and he had a bad poker face. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like he had an easier way, out the door. And then now it just seems like there's none of that. Yeah, he's going to lose, but you don't see it the same way,
Yeah.
I know it's been talked about, but it's yeah, it was a great fight, man. Especially, I just also think it's a good move moving away from the Conor thing. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think he's coming back to fight anyone, and I think he's just wasting his time.
Really? You don't think he's going to fight at all?
No, I don't think he'll fight again. No,
Huh.
not in UFC.
Well, now technically he doesn't have an opponent, so it's like there's one less reason to do anything about it. You know what I mean? Especially, I don't know. And then you hear what Conor says about it, and you can tell he's not telling you the whole truth. Kinda. You don't think UFC, come on, UFC's got to be doing everything they can to get him to fight, right? I mean, Conor's their biggest draw. Conor's their biggest draw. I'll say it.
Yeah.
So why would and if you ask me, this might be a little bit of conspiratorial thinking here, but also, I think they got rid of USADA and put in this other thing to benefit Conor coming back as well.
It's the timing of it was weird.
It was
it's
really
not that
weird,
crazy to think about. You're like, oh, all of a sudden now this doesn't matter, huh? And you're just this new company's just as good. Okay, so what's the point of USADA then?
And I'm not saying Conor, because of that, Conor doesn't have to I think that USADA just put a timeline on Conor that UFC didn't like.
Sure.
And their contract was close to being up or something, so they just went with another one to kind of reset so that Conor could come back sooner. And obviously, I don't know, but that's what I thought immediately when USADA left. So yeah, it seems like UFC is doing everything they can to make it an easy comeback for Conor. They gave him, in my opinion, out of the top 5, and this is no disrespect, but out of the top 5 lightweights, Chandler's his best matchup.
Yeah.
they gave him. I just feel like they gave him everything they needed, that Conor would have wanted and needed to come back. And I don't know. I think Conor's given the runaround for whatever reason. I know obviously he has a lot going on in his life, and you know, Chandler. I would, if I was Chandler, I would have been out when he broke his toe. So
yeah, same.
I don't know. So I'm happy. And then Chandler, he also said, I don't know if you saw this, Dan, but he said it's perfect timing and a perfect matchup for me because I'm trying to get back a loss from Oliveira.
Also, yep.
Then if, you know, once I beat Oliveira, he's like, I have options. I can go, if Conor's ready, we can do Conor. Or I can go for that lightweight championship. He's like, you know, he has options after that. And they're both great options to, you know, build his legacy and his career and everything. So, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to it. I love Michael Chandler. It's been a long time since we've seen him fight, so I'm pumped.
Now, hypothetically, how do you see a style of a fight like Chandler and Islam? Because I think Chandler can pose different types of problems to the Habibs and the Makashevs, because he can wrestle. He can wrestle for real. So
yeah, but he doesn't fight defensively. That's
he does
the
it.
problem.
How do you see a fight like that? Because I would think Islam would probably be a little more inclined to want to stay on the feet instead of like blowing his gas tank trying to grapple a guy who's probably, you know, pretty good. I'm not saying he's at the same level, but you know, if you wrestle at a place like Missouri that early, like he's been doing it a long time. So I always thought that was an interesting fight for those type of guys, that Chandler fight. So, you know.
And now that you say it, I actually agree. I think Islam would probably stand with him.
Yeah, because his leg, dude. I think one of his best shots is that head kick he throws. So I would think he'd probably be maybe trying to set that up. Especially he's very good at throwing straight shots, and that's one thing. Like we were talking about Conor being a good matchup for him. I think Conor really thrives against the shorter, stocky wrestlers that mainly throw hooks.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you can generally kind of see everything coming when you're the style that Conor is, as opposed to someone like Holloway where he doesn't really. I mean, you tell me if you see tells in his game. I don't see him.
Yeah,
I don't see anything where he showed like, oh, when he does that, he's throwing this. I don't see any of that with him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably Conor's. We can move on from him, but that was one thing I wanted to say about that. That might be his last thing to do here. Like you figure, imagine if Holloway beats a guy like Topuria, and mind you, Holloway, even if he loses Topuria, might even be better that way because he still has the BMF title.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have, that would probably be the shot I think Conor would take in UFC. Otherwise, I think he's just going to box Nate Diaz or something. Like, you know, do something like that.
Yeah, but then Max Holloway's on the shelf waiting for Conor to show up to Vegas or wherever it's going to be too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's why it's like I just think that
Max. I don't know if Max has nothing to prove. I don't know. Like if I would think.
See, you're right. You're right by saying that, but I also do think that he wants that back.
Yeah,
I do think he. I do because
I would guess
the guy
he
you
wouldn't
lost
care
to,
about that.
even though. Oh, be probably like if you asked him like, oh, if your career ended now, would you be bummed that you didn't fight him again? He'd be like, I don't give a shit about that. But I think if the opportunity presented itself and made sense, I think he'd be all over it. Because that does add his name, dude. If he goes out there and beats the hell out of Conor, and then that's it for Conor, and then it's like that's a huge.
Yeah, and I think he would.
I think he would too. He's gonna box his head off.
But
if you don't knock him out,
I think the only reason he'd take that fight, just like most fighters, is because it's an exciting fight and it's a big money fight.
Sure.
So, you know.
I don't disagree with what you're saying either. I'm kind of 50-50 on that, whether Holloway would want it or not. I think he would. But either way, we'll get to the whole Chandler Oliveira. That fight's awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that one thing. But yeah, no, Chandler and Oliveira, that's great because it's coming right up. That's the MSG one. Was it mid-November? Is it like the 16th or something like that?
Something like that.
I can't remember the date. But it's like mid.
Yeah.
November. I have to look at that card.
And that's got to be the main, the co-main, because John Jones, Stipe, that's crazy.
Sure. Yep.
Oh man.
Okay, there's nothing really announced. I don't see anything on the ESPN app yet. But yeah, no, that's dude. I mean, and that's another one, Jim. Right around the corner. I know. Once again, I apologize for going into the weeds, Jim. But the next pay-per-view is Pajeda and Roundtree.
Oh my god. I
That's
feel like
like
he
right.
fights
That's
every
like
other
right
week.
there, dude. Yeah, Chama, dude. But that's right around the corner, dude. Like that's another one. As soon as this one wraps up, then you're looking at that free card in Paris, that Moicano
Oh
Saint
yeah.
Denis headlining.
Oh, I
That's
can't
gonna
wait
be
for
an
that.
awesome card, and that's free. It's daytime, and then you're gonna be looking at the following weekend is Pajeda and Roundtree.
Oh, it's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's right there, dude. 2 weeks away from that one, and then 3 weeks away from Pajeda, Roundtree. So you got some. There's so many big fights coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll be in Vegas for the probably my favorite card of the year
Dude,
if it holds tight.
I was just looking at that card yesterday. Oh my god. I can't wait.
Dude, Lerone Murphy and Dan Ige is just chilling there,
Oh.
opening the pay-per-view.
Oh.
Jeff Neal and RDA's, the main event of the prelims, if you will. Shara Bullet, Armin Petrosian. Dude,
It's crazy.
God
It's crazy.
damn.
It's
Card's
Chama.
yeah, the card's
It's
not.
Chama.
But dude, that's all Chama. But yeah,
But
that's funny though. So does Chama just mean everything? Is that what
I
we're
think
gonna
so.
go with?
Yeah, I think we're
All
just
right,
gonna
cool.
say it.
So I'm gonna overuse it, and I can't even incorrectly use it. This is great.
People just understand. It doesn't. There's no explanation. It's just, yeah, you get it.
One of my fantasy teams is named that. I wonder if anyone knows what the hell that. That's it. It's just Chama.
That's
So
funny.
it should be like the Cincinnati Chamas, but
The Cincinnati Chamas. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, we did miss a UFC fight night that we didn't do an episode for, so let's just go
yes,
over that
yeah.
real quick. We'll just go over like a couple of the matchups here, but it was the Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. What did you think of that fight? I think it went exactly how I thought it would go, to be honest.
Very much so. He did show how good of a grappler he is, though, because he really didn't seem to have much issues at all. And
Mhm.
I'm such a fan of Gilbert Burns. That dude's he's just so well rounded and so good. So did you figure you got a guy like Sean Brady who just beat a guy like that, has a lot of really good wins. His only losses to the champ. It just sets up such a good rematch in the future if they do fight, because
Yeah.
I think that might be Bilal's Leon Edwards for that. Leon Edwards had Bilal as his little that kind of like that back burner rivalry where I think a lot of people didn't think much of it at the time
Yeah.
when that first fight went down and all that, but then you see what happens in the second. So I think this could be that kind of version of that. A guy like Sean Brady, man, you could see him beating just about anybody in that division. That dude's a problem, and his striking's getting better. It's never was bad, but it's just getting even sharper. So it's cool. He's peaking at the right time. Bilal Muhammad's he'll be even better his first title defense, just because that's what they say. It's true. A lot of times that little like 10% bump, they seem to just get a lot better on that. With that first title defense, it's probably just a confidence and just walking around. You're the man because you are. So,
Yeah.
like you're the man of the division. So the goal you've been working towards, you finally achieved. So you just want to hold on to that. But
Yeah, and
I love that matchup in the future. No, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, but go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I just pulled up the rankings and it bumped him up 2, so he was number 8. Now he's number 6.
Okay.
So that sets him up. He's probably one fight away potentially.
Yeah.
From a
Who's
title
ahead of him,
shot.
Jim? Just curious. What are the names?
So he's 6. Kobe Covington, Jack Della Maddalena, Shavkat, Kamaru, Leon, and then Bilal.
I want to say Della Maddalena has a fight, but that will be a fun one. Sean Brady and Della Maddalena. That's my guy of the division. I think. I think that's a problem for people.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then obviously Carlos Paredes. That's another one.
But also,
he's coming up, and you better watch out.
When was the last time Della Maddalena fought? Here we go. I got
Yeah,
it right here.
it's been a bit, right?
He fought Gilbert Burns.
Okay.
March of 2024.
See, it just seems so far away, even though it hasn't really been.
How many months ago was that? 6 months ago.
And I want to say he has a fight lined up. When is he fighting, Jim?
I haven't heard anything.
Maybe I'm misremembering it.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
But either way, if you don't have a fight, that could be the fight. Because if Madeline, what do you say it was? He was like 3 or 4 or something like that. He's right around there.
Yeah, he's 4.
If Brady's now 6, I don't. I kind of maybe would be more inclined to maybe split those up. Maybe have Della Maddalena fight someone else, and then Brady maybe go for like the 1 or 2 guy. But
Yeah,
I don't know. There's so many fights coming up.
Any of those matchups. You match up any of those guys, I think they're all
Sure.
great fights.
Sure, I agree.
Besides, like, I don't know. I like his style, but Kobe Covington is like not relevant anymore in my opinion.
No,
So
he's been
kind of
you can't talk. You can't talk at the clip he talks and then not accept any of these. You're just talking about so many guys. You're not signing to fight any of them. It's just like I don't know. You kind of look weak to me.
When was the last time he fought? It says, December. He fought Edwards. December of 2023. Yeah. So he's on like 8 months, 9 months off.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Matt Serra on that, because if you watch that newest podcast, it's funny. He's he's a piece of shit. Anyone who talks about someone's dead, like a dead father because he was killed. If you want to take it to that level, then you can't wonder why people walk up on you in the street or a restaurant, and do what they do to you. Really, like, come on, man. You can't wonder why this is happening. There's certain levels you can't, and certain lines you can't cross, and he seems to just think it's cute, But I don't know. They say he's a good guy. It's like, well, good guys don't do that.
Yeah. Well, he tries to be as controversial as he can, just to be controversial, just to pull.
If your skills can't speak for themselves, like, you should be able to,
Yeah, and honestly, you know what? Here's another thing. Here's another hot take. He hasn't evolved whatsoever since 10 years ago either. He's always been.
We just talked about how he broke a foot. They're like, oh, he broke his foot. I'm like, no, he just kind of gives you the same look. So I just think these championship level fighters are not going to be, having that much of a difficult time with you.
Here's another thing. Or I would assume that UFC has offered him fights in the past 9 months, at least one.
He's probably got Della Maddalena. You don't want that one.
He's probably ducking people.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. And it's like, it's not even like us just talking shit. It's just like, no, we're just kind of calling it how it is. Plus, it's also like, you can't really cry foul on anyone talking shit about you with the way you run your mouth. So maybe,
Yeah, and I actually really do enjoy watching Kobe fight.
His pace is he weaponized pace. That's what's so good about what he does. But, I've never been a super fighter, fan.
And I want to see him fight, even if it's his last. I don't know. I enjoy him. He's from my area, so
yeah.
I don't know.
He's good.
Like him, but
it's just I don't know. I just the welterweight guys in there now. If he takes that fight, I think he loses to a lot of these guys coming up. A lot of these guys coming up. So the guys we mentioned, like Della Maddalena, Pratis, Shavkat, Rachmanov. Like these are the new breed guys. It's kind of like we'll see tonight with lightweight, like Torres and Bahamondes, and there's some new breed guys coming that are gonna be taking spots. So
yeah, for sure. Well, let's get back to this Sean Brady card. I'm pumped Sean Brady's in that top 5 class now. But the co-main, Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. All right, something I love about Andrade. I don't think she's ever taken one step backwards in her whole career, right? Like,
probably not. Maybe just to get off the scale after she weighs in. That's it. That's the only backward step you take. Yeah. But she's fun to watch.
Yeah.
She always brings it.
I mean, the fact that Silva's back was against the cage literally the whole fight, and she just pieced her up from a distance as best she could.
Footwork.
And
footwork and speed very
was
good.
Amazing, dude. Like, hats off to Silva, man. She looked great. And actually now she was number 8 as well in her division.
So where's she go now?
Flyweight. Let's see. Women's flyweight. She is number 6, so she went up 2 as well. So she's gonna have a top 5 fight, and above her you got Thug Rose, Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield, Manon Fiorot, and Valentina. That's those are all amazing fighters too, man. They're
Can't go
fucking
wrong. Yeah.
beasts. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see any of those too. Fiorot we should be seeing soon, huh? I haven't heard anything about her.
Yeah, I think she kind of didn't she kind of get leapfrogged in the title conversation? So it's kind of tough because she's
Yeah.
kind of in limbo, I think. Because, well, do I have it right? Did she beat Rose? Was that what it was? Like Rose got, they were talking about her getting a shot?
She fought Blanchfield. She beat Blanchfield in March.
Did she not beat Rose, though?
Oh, she did beat
I thought,
Rose. She did.
okay.
In
Because I thought that
September
was
of
always
last year.
I thought that was the dilemma, that people wanted to see Rose fight for a title, but they're like, well, man, and Fiorot's right there at one or whatever it is.
Dude, her
and has
win
beaten her.
streak is crazy. Look at this.
Yeah, she's beaten a lot of the top names.
So she's on a 1, 2, 3. Well, let me load more. She might have more fucking. She's won every fight in the UFC that she's had. So she beat Ricci. Yeah. She beat Ricci. She beat Silva. She beat Maya.
She beat Natalia Silva, the one we just talked about?
Yep.
Okay. See? Wow.
She beat, what was her name before? Kermanara? What was her name before? I always remember her from her old name.
Who are we talking about?
The woman, oh god damn it, what was her name? Blonde fighter. That's her nickname.
Oh, Chokugian?
Yes, Chokugian, yeah. She beat her, then she beat Rose. Yeah, and then she beat Blanchfield. She's on like a 6 or 7 fight win streak.
That's a lot of the top names in that division.
Yeah, you got to give it to her, man. Like, she's got to be next in line for whoever wins tonight.
Either way, it seems like you're probably going to be able to close the book on this one, at least for a little while, right?
Well,
at least it won't be the next fight.
It's a trilogy, so you got to have to move on from this.
They could still end up fighting again but at least what I'm saying, like after tonight's fight, the next fight for both these girls are going to be a different opponent.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I kind of agree. That would be really cool. Either way, that'd be cool. I mean, imagine Shevchenko and Fiorot. That's a good striker matchup.
Oh, that's the one I want to see because they're like somewhat similar.
Sure.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
And she's so hard to take down too. So any of these people who think they're gonna, like a lot of people, they'll always thought, well, we'll just take the striker down. But that's the thing. If they developed a crazy, that's what I would do if I was a striker. Before I even got into UFC, I would be having some of the best wrestlers just take me down over and over and over until I was better at avoiding it or popping back up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would not enter any of that until that happened. So, and then that way you can, once you get that on your base, then you really want to train the ground so that way you know what to expect when you get there. But you want to try to keep it, like there are some legendary sprawls some guys had, and they pop right back up if they got taken down.
Yeah.
But she's one of them. She has a very good takedown defense, I believe. Her percentage is crazy. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. But
no, yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But that's what's so good about Alexa Grasso, because she's very good on the ground and all. But I think she has some of the best boxing that we've seen, in the UFC. Her hands are so good. That's kind of why I'm picking her. I'm picking her we'll get there, but
yeah, I
just think her hands are just, I think that's probably Shevchenko's weakness, if she has one, would be her act like boxing. Like I think she kind of I don't want to say throws the same strikes, but she does have, I think, predictable to a degree if you're someone like Grasso, where she in tight, she just gets those punches off, and it's just, I don't know, I'm just a big fan of her, but we'll see how this fight goes, because I'm going to rewatch that one when we wrap up, because it's very mixed, and I cannot remember their draw. Yeah, it was a split draw.
Yeah.
I cannot remember what I was leaning when I watched it.
Yeah, I can't either. I can't remember.
Yeah, so I want to rewatch that and see.
Yeah.
Because Grasso, obviously, she won by rear naked choke first fight. So, I'm curious on that one. I'll watch that after. But
But back to this card. One other fight I wanted to mention was Steve
Yes, yeah,
Garcia, dude.
yeah. He's fun to watch, man, and he's very good. And I just think maybe it's just a, I don't know. He's not like the he's not like this jack guy or crazy tattoos, but he is just so technically good.
I felt like he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I've heard the name a few times, but he just I don't know. Sometimes when you're beating certain names that just don't ring a bell to you, you don't really you're like, oh, I know he's got wins in the UFC, but until he started beating, like that might be. Let me check his record. That might be one of his better wins to date. 'Cause Kyle Nelson's very good. What did he beat Duho Choi last week?
That's his
No, it's
sixth.
different Choi.
It was a
Sorry.
different Choi. But what happened there with that fight?
Which one we talking about?
Choi. How did it
He's
end?
won every fight. He's won by knockout. The last five it shows here,
So did
all in the
that
first and
fight
second.
not happen with Choi, or how did that? Because it's not telling me how that fight ended. But
Oh, yeah, Garcia. He fought him July 20th, and he won a minute 36 in the first round by KO.
oh, why on UFC is it not telling me
That's
how that
weird.
fight ended? I don't know. That's
That's
weird.
weird.
So he's on
That
a
is weird,
7 KO streak.
dude. Yeah, yep. So, and
Wow.
that's why you just saw him lose by he was stopped in a little over a minute a couple years ago. So you see something like that, a lot of people just might not think, but no, that dude is he's here to stay and he is good, especially at featherweight. He seems like a big featherweight.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I'm surprised with
frame wise,
7 straight knockouts, he's not ranked yet.
and the elbow was sick. Those elbows, man. I love elbows, Jim. That's my favorite. It's my favorite strike. It's awesome. They're awesome. They're the best.
How is he not
Yeah.
ranked?
I guess maybe just a division.
Yeah. Well, I
Featherweight's
guess
crazy too, right? I
15,
mean,
number 15 is Edson Barboza. So
there you go, dude.
there's that.
Edson Barboza's it's like he's at 15. It's like wow,
Then you
but
got Dan Ige, Diego Lopez, Bryce Mitchell, Lerone Murphy, Chikadze, Calvin Cater, Aljamain, Josh Emmett, Evloev, Arnold Allen, Yair, Ortega, Max Holloway, and Volkanovski, and then Ilya. Jesus
wow.
Christ.
And you got Aljo fighting Iblevov, so he could easily take that spot if he beats him, right? So,
Oh man. Yeah.
yep, that's a great matchup because that he's been running through people, and I don't. Not many people run through a guy like Aljo. You might knock him out, sure, but anyone can get knocked out.
Yeah.
But it's more so like to be thoroughly dominated in a grappling realm when that's what you do.
Yeah.
So if he does that to Aljo, you'd be like, oh shit. But I don't know. I got a feeling Aljo might backpack his ass. Like that dude's very, very. I don't think people realize how great he is on the ground because he has those physical advantages too.
Yeah.
Like very long limbed and he's training with those killers over there, man. They're so good on the ground. Like the way the Matt Serra and those guys over there, they got a lot of bodies to work with, including Marab. So, yeah, no, there's a lot in that division. I guess that would be your only reason why Steve Garcia hasn't cracked it yet.
See, if I'm Steve Garcia, I'd be looking maybe for the winner of Lerone Murphy and Dan Ige.
That's a good one.
Because they're both good matchups for him.
Yep.
That potentially put you definitely top 15, closer to top 10, because Lerone's 11.
It's a real good test for you too, to kind of see where you're at, because those guys are definitely top 10 material as they are in it. But they could be mainstays the way they're especially. Ige's already shown you, but I think Lerone Murphy will continue because he just beat Edson Barboza too in a really good fight. So, it's just fun now. What else can you say about it? It's just such a fun time to be a fan. There's so many good fighters.
It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best year in UFC history, and I think in terms
we've
of
said it. Yeah, I agree.
Pay-per-views, events, even most of the fight night cards have been amazing.
You just mean just quality fights, quality events. Like we're not talking about and I know there's been like monumental years where they made crazy strides. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about more just every fight, every card, like we get so, especially the pay-per-views, man. There have been a lot of pay-per-views in years past where you're like, this does nothing for me as far as getting me too overly excited. Because they look like boxing
like
pay-per-views where they have like one fight. Yeah, it's like it's just the main event. You're like, that's awesome, but these other fights just really aren't doing it for you. And then you look at the card we really were talking about end of October. You look at that card, you're like, what the, like, even it's like, what's Pereira and Roundtree? What does that look like? Let's see.
Yeah, let's check that out.
Yeah, you got Pereira, Roundtree. You got Pennington, Pena for a title. That's 2 titles. You got Wonderboy, Joaquin Buckley, Jose Aldo, Mario Batista, Roman Dolidze, Kevin Holland, and then Aljo Ivlov is on that as well. And also another, I don't know why it's not properly in order, but it's a pay-per-view for sure will be Kayla Harrison, Ketlin Vieira.
Oh,
that's nice, on the card too.
And it's in Salt Lake City, which has been
Mormons.
Yeah, Mormons.
I always have to say
I bring that up because every other UFC pay-per-view that's been in Salt Lake has been amazing.
Yes.
In terms of finishes and shit that happened during the event, you know?
And that crowd has a different energy than a lot of crowds in US.
Yeah.
Just because you could just tell the excitement level. You don't get many events like this, so it's like it's not just a bunch of people traveling to Vegas every year that they always do to watch fights. It's more people are here, they live here, and they're excited because it only happens, like you said, once a year, 2, 3, whatever it, you know?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
That's awesome. So they bring a lot of energy.
But before we start talking about the Noche card tonight, let's talk about one other event that's happening tonight. Actually, right down the street from the Sphere is at T-Mobile Arena. We have the infamous, legendary Canelo Alvarez fighting, and he's fighting a undefeated prospect in Edgar Berlanga. Again, I feel bad talking about boxing because I don't know these other guys. But he's undefeated. He's Puerto Rican, so it's Mexico versus Puerto Rico. I heard he's a heavy hitter. I think he's on a
big puncher. 2
knockout streak or something like that. 2-win knockout streak.
He's at most of his wins are knockouts anyway. He's just I've seen him fight a couple times for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
He's good, man. I just don't. I'm not saying it's too much for him too soon. I just don't see the route of victory. I don't like you could be as big of a power puncher as any of these guys, but if he's not there, he's not there.
Yeah, if you can't hit him, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think Canelo's just something else, man. So I think he's gonna be a little too quick and I just don't see it. But it'd be crazy. You know, he has the power to do it, but I've seen him. But I don't know, man. Canelo's just so good. That's what makes that if they can make the weights work where it makes sense, a fight where it'd be a Crawford and Canelo would be crazy. It'd be so insane. I'm trying to see how that would even. Yeah. The weights just might be too much of an issue, but
well, you know, Terrence
cool.
wants
I'll
to
check
do
it out. Yeah, I mean talk about it's more for Bud Crawford, I think, in a lot of ways, because that brings his legacy to just another level if he beats a guy like Canelo.
Yeah, just another title.
With the career he's already had.
And the other guy they've been talking about fighting Canelo is David Benavidez.
Yep.
So either one of those fights would be awesome. Whether or not they can make it happen. And, you know, I've heard people talk about, you know, let's get some of that Saudi money to make it happen. Let's throw it down there and I don't know. If you pay them enough, they'll fight anywhere, right? I mean, everyone's got a number.
Oh yeah. Oh, so. I think one of those fights will happen. It'll probably tend to be the fight with the closer in weight. I just think the weight might be too much of an issue. Like Crawford might just take whatever is presented, and then that way he's guaranteed it, and that's probably your best way of it happening. But if they get into a bidding thing about like, no, you go down a pound, or you like, especially when we're talking going down, I don't think Canelo's going to play that.
No, yeah, I can't see him going down.
After you know, he probably learned all those lessons from Floyd, because Floyd did all those things. smart, but it's what he did. He really drained him out, and sucked him down because he knew he was a big power puncher, a young kid. So I think they had that weight at a smaller weight that probably he wanted, but you get the big fight, so you have to kind of go with the A side, right? So, um, but it'll be cool. I'll still watch it. I'll check it out. I don't know when. I might watch it the next day because I'm going to be so into this card tonight. I don't think I'm going to be thinking about much else, you know?
Oh, also, I don't know if this is true. We can look it up, I guess. But I heard that, and I can't remember why. I don't know, but I heard that boxing was going to drop its prices to $20 per pay-per-view. Did you hear this?
Yeah, I believe that was one of the Saudi guys that are trying to run the shows. I think he probably eventually would like to do that. Like this Canelo one's not that, but I think what he eventually wants to do, which I kind of understand I think he's kind of probably new school thinking, where he's like, I'll drop it to 20. I'm going to get more people. I'll make my money, but it'll get more exposure in the long run. I think he's kind of thinking a few different steps ahead than most people. They just want to it's like a money grab. Like, oh, we got Canelo, charge 100, and people will pay. So,
yeah.
But I think with this, I think he's trying to like change the structure there. So there'd be less pirating and less, which I like that, dude. You give me $20 pay-per-view boxing. I'll order every single weekend. Cause that's manageable when you have to.
So what does this say? I just pulled this up. So tonight's pay-per-view is $89.99 for Canelo.
Yeah, they can't do it now.
U.S. fans, I'm reading this off of Boxing News 247.com, something like that. UFC fans only need to pay $20 on pay-per-view to watch the September 21st heavyweight clash between Daniel Dubois,
Yeah.
and Anthony Joshua at Wembley.
Yeah.
That's a very nice price compared to the $70 plus events that American fans have grown accustomed to. But why? I remember someone saying that they were going to try to do that.
Well, it's also probably a competition with UFC, dude, because it's like I bet you they take a killing because I think if people have that money on the weekend, they're going to pick the UFC card. I'm talking like kids, like say, let's just even say like 18 to 20. What's that demographic they like? 18 to 28 or whatever. I don't know what they call it. But I would think more are watching UFC. Like the lads are getting together for those shit. And they're putting their shekels together. But yeah, I would order those if they're $20.
See what 100%. They're saying here, it's because it's a British market, that US fans aren't as excited about it. But I think it's just in general, I think it's, and I don't know. Maybe I can only speak for myself, but I think it's just a boxing thing. If boxing pay-per-views across the board were $20, a lot more people would be watching boxing every pay-per-view, So they should just do that for boxing for a little while until they build up their talent and people start to know some of the names a little bit better, and the numbers are coming in and you start selling higher gates, and then increase the prices from there. Like boxing, to be honest, boxing died a while ago, and it seems like it's trying to come back, but something like that would definitely bring it back and help, at least for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's like people that would disagree with what you said. It's like, well, it doesn't mean it's dead. He's just saying it's like more like speaking like in the way it used to be. Like I would have loved that, dude. I don't know if it was in the 80s or 90s, whatever it was, but when they were doing those free like ABC Friday night fights and there were big names and like big fights.
Yeah.
I don't see why that's not appealing. Like the general nature of human beings they like violence. It's there. You can't really.
Yeah.
You can act like it doesn't exist. That's fine. That's cute, but people like that shit. So I think you can. I kind of always agreed with Rogan when he said it. You'd always talk about kickboxing, like how it doesn't take off. I don't get it either. Because every time I've ever watched like Glory, it's awesome. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe something we're missing.
You know what I think it is? Because if you think back with the UFC, right? You just need the stars. There's a lot of luck involved, I think, to be honest, because like I could see it's so hard to imagine now because of how big UFC is. But I could, if I was back in like 2004, 2003, before, like, the big event was the finale of The Ultimate Fighter. That was the event that changed people's perspective on the sport. Before that, you could see UFC. I mean, we would watch it because we enjoyed it, but it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't have taken off in terms of like a household name if that event never happened. So like, it would just, I mean, UFC would just be like kickboxing is if Forrest Griffin never fought Stephen Bonner, you know? And then on top of that, if, you know, because after Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin fought, because that was so accessible to people that had cable, right? Then they're like, oh, what is this all about? Right? And then they see guys like Chuck Liddell, right?
Sure.
And Rampage. Oh, yeah. And, you know, I think, was that season 2? Was Rampage and Rashad? What was that? Ultimate Fighter?
Probably a few more, maybe.
Yeah, but then, you know, they're like, Ultimate Fighter, I'll watch that. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And then you got those guys, and they're characters. They got big personalities, and they're fun to watch. Rampage has always been entertaining.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, like, a lot of stars have to align, and, like, I mean, I don't know the kickboxing world at all, but, like, are there any guys in professional kickboxing that have personalities that could be on pay-per-view or under the bright lights? And, you know what I mean? I'm sure some of them could if they're pushed and they felt like there was this big event behind them.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why it never was. It's even like, I know this is like different in a lot of ways, but I don't even know why, like when the UFC kind of got WEC, I don't know why they didn't keep it in some capacity as like I would have always liked it if UFC early on did like a minor league, because imagine what it'd be like now. Yeah. You see the talent of these younger guys that you don't know yet. So if they had a smaller developmental league where you'd see these guys that were like, you know, they were just about ready. Like they were, you know, whatever they are, they're 12-1, but they're like, you know, they're just about ready. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of names like that. So I wonder if you talked to someone early in UFC if they were even thinking about that. Because that was something I always wished they did.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, and I agree.
You'd get all the big names. Yeah, you probably would have got all the. Yeah, I mean,
imagine if you went from the Contender Series right to a minor league UFC type promotion like WEC, like you said. That'd be awesome. And then your WEC minor league stuff could, you know, you put on events all over the, like if, all right, so let's say UFC's in Madison Square Garden in November, right? Mm-hmm. You could pair that on a Friday night fight, WEC, in like Brooklyn.
In that small spot. Or a smaller in that small spot. Arena at Madison Square, you know, like. Yeah. There's so many different things that I think I definitely would have thought that's a good idea to do. Especially, like I said, all the names now, you'd have all the rights. If they were fighting in your minor organization, that the goal is to be in the UFC, so you're already like you're right there, and they already have you. They already have you under contract. Yeah. I think negotiating would be so easy. It'd just be, I don't know, I just wish something like that had happened, because then it would have, I'm not saying it's obviously become something crazy, which we're so happy that it's become as big as it has. But imagine if they had like a similar system to what every other sport has. Yeah, in that some also, form of minor or college.
Also, it's just hard to manage that many fighters, that much talent. After you get past a certain point, like I'm sure they're already past that point, but it's like they have to continually cut people to bring people in, because after a certain point you can't manage that many fighters. Like you only have so many spots on every event to have people fight. It's like, I mean, what do you have? What do they usually do? I know we have like 10 fights tonight, but like that's not normal. Usually they have like, what do they have? Like there's usually how many on early prelims? You got like
usually like what, 6?
It's probably 12 to 15 fights, 12 to 15 a night.
I would say usually like around 11 or 12 almost. I'm sure they have more, like 13. I don't know if they've ever done 14 or 15.
Well, the main cards always have like 5 fights, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then prelims usually have like 4, right? 4 or 5.
And then sometimes they have ones that they consider like earlier ones, so they might have 6 full prelims,
Yeah.
something like that. But maybe 7. I don't know if I've seen a card more than 12, to be honest.
Okay, so let's say 12. So you have 12 fights. That's 24 fighters, right?
Yeah.
And how big's your roster? You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
and this is four times a week, 4 times a month. Usually they fight every week, or there's an event.
Mm-hmm.
So 24 times 4, you're talking 100 fighters. 100 fighters a month. That's all you can do. And what's your roster? Right? It's like you can't, I don't know, at a certain point you kind of have to have another promotion.
It would be nice, dude. Especially, I was thinking about it, like, a lot of these guys that are like, they still got a lot to give, but they are towards the end of their careers. And if they end up dropping down to there and they start fighting some like prospects, and it's like it gives the prospect a really good rub, and it gives that fighter still a chance to
something to fight for.
Like, exactly, because it's like there's nothing wrong. I mean, to them, it probably must be the worst feeling in the world, but you say you're like 36, 37, you still beat up most people in the gym. You still have it. But then you got to fight these guys that are in the top 5 that are in the prime. They're like where you were when you were 28 and like just fully like in the best position going into like a title scenario.
Yeah.
Like they're prime for this. It's so hard to beat those guys.
Yeah.
Because it's not even inches. It's even smaller window for errors. These guys are just at such a high level. That's kind of like why I can't wait for that Islam Sharukian fight, because that fight I think that is the guy that gives Islam maybe that the first time we see him lose his belt. That could be the guy. That guy's that good. And it was I believe, split decision when they first fought.
Yeah.
It's just these guys are so razor close, so it's so hard to compete with them once you're 37 or so, say. Like what's Poirier, 35, 36? He's not even old. That's what I am. And in terms of this, you're considered old.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It's just hard to hang around. It's hard.
Well, let's transition to tonight's card because we're already at 50 minutes. Dude, obviously we always start with the main event. Sean O'Malley versus Merab. We've been talking about this. They've been trying their best even before the fight was announced months and months ago to promote them fighting at the Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think about this main event? And how much of a chance does Merab have? Because everyone's picking Sugah Sean O'Malley.
Big chance. He has to have a lot go right early. I think. And I don't think it's necessarily that difficult. You just have to understand that I don't think he's ever going to be safe in the fight. Like what he's entering. There's just so many weapons that O'Malley can throw to.
Yep.
To thwart it, one of the craziest, one of the worst, if there's a real bad knockout tonight, it might be that step in knee. Because he'll throw that step in knee, and sometimes he'll fake it and throw a right hand. Like I like the way he mixes things up. But that knee that hit Cheeto,
oh man, yeah.
I don't know how many guys are taking that one. So, especially if your force is coming in on a takedown, which Merab will be most likely. But the one good thing about a guy like Merab, he's different than Aljo, right? Where Aljo, a lot of times I don't think Aljo looks that comfortable standing. And I think he kind of throws things out of just that kind of those awkward moments where there's like a pause, no one's really doing anything. I think he'll kind of throw something just to kind of do it. But I think Merab just kind of just stays in your face. So if you don't hurt him and he's already there, like he's just going to continue to be in your face. So if he makes the fight ugly and O'Malley can't get like timing and his footwork down, and every time he tries to like do something slick, Merab just kind of like muddies it up, makes it ugly. And then on top of that is holding on to him, beating him up. I think you could definitely see Merab beating him, dude. Merab is like I said, especially if let's say first round he gets him down relatively early, does not take damage, And then people will look at it like maybe he doesn't do a lot of damage, but if he's making O'Malley work in ways he doesn't want to, you just don't know what you see in the second round. He's still going to be fresh. He's still going to be dangerous. But then what happens if he does it again? It's just he's a snowball, and his gas tank is crazy. I mean, I hope I sold it well because I am picking O'Malley second round KO, but I always lean towards the strikers with the range. They understand. I think there's so much that can go wrong if you're the guy who wants to get in there and grapple. But then again, a guy like Merab stood up with Peter Yan pretty much no problem. He beat the hell out of him. But he was able to, like, in the sequences where he needed to strike, he was able to be successful. I just don't know if you're going to be able to do it to O'Malley. I just don't know if he's going to be there. And I think he might catch you running at him a little too much. And that's what I think it's going to be a straight right. Where he's kind of just leading too much, chasing too much, and then just doesn't even see it probably. It's just going to be like kind of like a footwork angle off and then boom. Because that's how he got Aljo. He kind of got him on that half. He kind of got him on the retreat, but he was kind of baiting him to kind of take the step. And then as he did, he just filled the space way faster than I think Aljo even expected. Because once that right hand was, you could see Aljo saw it was coming, was like, oh shit. But you kind of see on his face, he saw it.
Yep.
I know that's a lot to like say in the moment, but I'm pretty sure it looked like Aljo saw that punch coming last second, knew he couldn't get out of the way. It was just like, oh, well, it's just one of those things, man. I think O'Malley gets you to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah, I could see Sean O'Malley circling out and hitting him with a straight right, like you said.
That's how I see it. Yep.
Yeah, I can see his back against the cage. He's moving left and right, trying to, and Merab goes in for something, and he just circles out and hits him with that right, just like Aljo. Sure.
Or like I said, I like the way a lot of the long fighters will take that step in knee, and they use the step in knee to kind of make people think that that's all they're throwing, but they really want to step in and throw the right hand. But he could reverse it on Merab and make him like he'll do the step in knee. Merab's not thinking of the knee because he's faking the knee to throw the right hand. And Merab's like, oh, he's just throwing the right hand, so he might duck under the right hand thinking it's there, and he throws the knee then. So I could see. I just think that's a dangerous game to play if you're Merab.
Yeah. Well, to go off a little bit of what you said with Merab and what he's got to do, we talk about this a lot, whether it's striking or now wrestling. You come in with a game plan, and you got 5 rounds to execute, right? And let's say, I'm sure Sean O'Malley and his team, they have it down. They know what they have to do. They know how the fight
very
has
good
to
at film
go.
study. They're really good at that.
They watch a lot of tape. And the thing is, though, in fighting, if something doesn't go your way, then mentally it like screws you up, right?
Like a snowball.
And I don't know if we've seen Sean O'Malley in that much trouble where now he's like his gears are turning and he's got to come up with a new game plan.
We don't have time against a guy like Merab too. It's already too late.
I don't think that's ever happened to Sean O'Malley yet that we've seen. And I would be curious to see how him and his team handle a situation like, I'm not saying it's going to happen tonight. I don't think so. But if Merab can take him down and put the pace on him and hold him there for longer than he wants to be there, then he's going to be like, wow, we're down 2 rounds to none, or whatever it is. We're behind on the scorecards. Whatever we came in with isn't working. What do we got to do? How do we have to change this up? And just like we talk about striking, you can try your best with distance and everything you got, but if you get hit, once you get hit, you're like, all that could mentally at least be out the window. And you're like,
now you're not thinking clearly.
Yeah, now you're just reptilian brain, like,
fight or flight. Yeah, you're just
exactly,
because that's what I worry about. Like Merab might. I just think if O'Malley gets the opportunity to hit him early, I think he's going to hurt him. Doesn't mean he's going to I know he has a great chin, but it's not necessarily just you being tough. and having a great chin. If you don't see shots coming, if it's just faster than you expected, if maybe he hits a lot harder than you expected.
Yeah.
I think it's just a lot of times it's placement and accuracy more so than it is power. Because you see a lot of shots a lot of these guys take, and you wonder how they took them.
Yeah.
There's some so it's just sometimes it's just where it's placed. It's not, but I could definitely see Merab winning, man. It's just I think that first round's going to tell you a lot. Plus, what happens if Merab's going to take him down? I think O'Malley's going to be able to get up, but Merab's going to take him down again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those things. What happens if Merab takes him down, and he's so reckless and aggressive, he could hurt you on the takedown. So what happens if like O'Malley posts, tries to brace it, or just gets slammed and something's hurt? Like you just don't know. Anything can happen in these fights because that's what it is. So it's like you might not see it, but what happens if one of his arms gets fucked up on a takedown, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, I don't know why he's not throwing that hand as much. It's like, well, maybe there's just so much that can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Or
an ankle, that's what or a knee.
Exactly. A lot of people they'll say, oh, it's because he got hurt. I'm like, they're fighting, man. They're both getting hurt. It's just you have to overcome what the other guy's bringing. It doesn't have to. Sometimes it's not always a clean punch that hurts somebody. Sometimes it's on a takedown, his shoulder went into his rib, and now he has a broken rib. Or like you saw what happened to Poirier against that fight in Islam. Pretty sure he had a few different injuries that he sustained in the fight. It's just that's what fighting is. It's not always just he's punching him, he's kicking him. It's like, no, there's a lot else. So it's those kicks that you block, but you take them on the forearms. Like what happens if O'Malley does that to him? Yeah, what happens if O'Malley does that to him? The shots come off the forearms. What happens if he breaks one of Merab's forearms? He's not going to stop, but that's going to make that way more difficult for a guy like Merab to get the fight where he wants. He's not going to be able to have the squeeze for takedowns or submissions as much. Like there's a lot that can go. That's why I don't know. I don't know how this fight's going down, but if I pick one scenario, I just see O'Malley getting a clean finish.
Yeah, the probabilities are, I think, heavily in Sean O'Malley's favor. But one other thing I wanted to say was a good reference fight for this fight would be Bilal and how he handled Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
Merab's got to do exactly that to Sean O'Malley. Can he do that? I don't know. I mean, and I don't know what his game plan is coming in. But I think a great reference fight.
That is really good.
I mean, think about it. Stylistically, it's basically the same exact fight. Leon Edwards is a sniper. He's got great head kicks. I mean, he's a lot different than Sean O'Malley.
Well, their style, of course, their style's different, but what they're trying to do to you is very similar.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah. So that is a good comparison because that's how Merab gets it done. Because those long punches don't mean much when the guy's just in on you. He's in on your chest.
Yeah, get your face in his face at all times.
It's a bold strategy, but that is his best. That's what makes this fight so interesting. Because there aren't many guys that can do that to O'Malley.
Yeah.
But Merab can. He has the ability to.
I can't wait, man. We're going to see that later tonight, and I can't wait to see what montage they do before that main event. I'm sure just like the fights, the Sphere presentation will culminate at that main event right before the main event. So that'll be cool to watch too. But
boy, oh boy.
I know we talked a little bit about it before, but let's get into this co-main flyweight title fight between the third fight between Alexa Grasso and Valentina. And we said we would probably watch that last fight again after this episode just to freshen up on that split decision draw. But I don't know. Obviously both these chicks I shouldn't call them chicks. Both these ladies.
Yeah, watch yourself, Jim. I can't help you if they come after you.
But both these ladies are, dude, just amazing fighters, dude. Like,
so technically sound in their own ways.
Valentina,
just what they do, what they're great at. It's just
before Alexa choked her out, I didn't think anyone was going to beat her forever. I
Same.
think she'd have to move up and fight, whoever. I didn't think anyone was going to beat her. And Alexa put it on her. Like, not just put it on her, but made her look average in that fight at least.
That first fight, yeah. It did not. It just looked like it's kind of how, in a lot of ways, how you have to. People would look at it like, oh, Shevchenko was the more traditional, like UFC fighter. Like she had everything, right? And then going into it, but it's like, Grasso, I just love her boxing, dude. That's my favorite part of her game. Especially the combination of being able to be that good on the ground and get submissions of her own, but to also have that boxing. I don't think there are that many fighters that are that good at both like that.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Manuel Torres tonight. Same thing. I just think his hands are really good. He always seems to hurt people, and he's so aggressive. He loves to get that submission too. I think that makes fighters so dangerous when they just take whatever is presented. I don't like when a lot of fighters seem to just kind of hang and just throw ground and pounds. Like, you're not really trying to stop this fight. And that's what I like about both of those. But back to like Grasso, I have her to win tonight. I think it's more the boxing than anything, especially given the night with Mexican Independence weekend and all this. And I think you're going to see her on fire. I think you're going to see her on fire tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I think I'm picking her too. How do you have her winning?
I think she's going to stop Shevchenko this time.
You think she's going to TKO her?
I think with the hands.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. I think that perfectly closes the book. They had that draw in the middle. She stopped her with a choke, and if she stops her with her hands, because she dropped her in that second fight, I believe. I still don't know what round it was. Or was it the first fight? Which it might have been both. I could be misremembered, but
I can't remember.
She did knock her down in one of them. I think it was the second one. But either way,
and it's a pick 'em fight. It's even.
It should
odds.
be.
Yeah.
And it should. You figure, yeah. I mean, Shevchenko lost the first one, but it's like their last fight was a draw. So it's like the perfect fight to be a pick 'em, right? Like.
Yeah.
But okay, so how do you see it? You see it as a submission?
I lean towards submission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I could see that too. That would probably be my second choice. But I got a weird feeling she might stop her.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, anything can happen, but I just putting out Valentina on the feet is so much harder, I think, than either of the other.
Oh my God, yeah. That's why I picked on the verdict thing. I picked Grasso by submission, I believe.
Yeah.
But just like kind of recently, I was just like, you know what, that's the pick I'm gonna run with. But I'll keep it the same on verdict. But You're right, she is not easy to stop. So
yeah, she's a Terminator, dude.
Oh my God, yeah. But you figured just with that clean and technical boxing that she has, it's just the shots you don't see. I just don't. I just think she is. If we're picking one spot where one's like quite a bit better than the other, I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty even just about anywhere else. They both throw great kicks. They both can mix in takedowns. They both can win by submission. I just think her boxing's just sharper by a good amount. So.
All right. Well, we'll see. But the next fight is, I would say, the fans' favorite. At least definitely mine. I'm guessing your favorite too.
I have one on the pay-per-view and one on the prelims, and that's the pay-per-view one. That's my
yeah, and this is a matchup we wanted to see. And where were they supposed to fight before?
Oh, that was recent when Ige he walked in on like 5 minutes notice and fought.
Yeah, that was the other where a ton of things changed. It wasn't just that fight.
Oh, that was
304?
Wasn't it the same? That was the same. There's 303, wasn't it? Like McGregor and Chandler originally.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I think it was that one.
Yeah, but yeah, we were pumped for this fight. I think that was our favorite fight of the night. That card too.
Yes.
Even if everything had stayed the same we were like, damn, this is a great matchup. This is a huge opportunity for Diego Lopez, being ranked 13 against a number 3 Brian Ortega, which also, what was Brian Ortega's last fight? He fought... Oh,
but also, real quick, Jim,
Yair in the beginning of the year.
it was 303. Pajeda and Yuri took the main event, and that was co-main. Diego Lopez and
Yeah, okay.
So it was originally supposed to be that card, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Brian Ortega hasn't fought since early this year, February, against Yair, and won that.
I mean, anytime you beat Yair, that's a big win. That guy is so dynamic and so dangerous.
And he fought him. Oh, but he fought him twice, and Yair beat him in July 2 years ago. So he's only had actually
Not a lot of fights lately. Huh?
Yeah, not a lot of fights. He fought Volkanovski in 2021 September. He fought Yair the first time in July of 2022, and then he fought him again in February of this year. He went 1-1 against Yair. So,
are you leaning towards that maybe being one of the main factors of the fight? Because Lopez is exactly opposite. He's been busy. He's kind of storming now. He's kind of like quickly making a name for himself, you know? So they're kind of opposites in that way.
Brian Ortega absolutely has everything to lose in this fight. There's a lot more pressure on him. Diego Lopez, he's got nothing to lose. He's, you know, like you just said, young, and he's full of fire right now, and he's been on a win streak, and the only reason he got this fight at Sphere is because of his performance at 303 against Dan Ige. And like I said, a 13 against a 3. This is easily going to put him in the top, maybe even the top 5 if he wins this fight.
Sure.
And Brian Ortega has fought for the title. He's had a great career. He's fought some of the best. He's getting up there in age. You know, I'm not saying Brian Ortega. I mean, I'm not saying Brian Ortega doesn't have it anymore. I don't know. No. I want to see it. So either way,
he has taken a lot of damage too. You figure that fight with Holloway was real tough. He had those tough fights with
Volkanovski.
Or was it one fight? Was it multiple? Right, with Volkanovski?
I think it was just one. It was just one.
That fight was. I'd put that in the top list.
Oh yeah.
Like if you were like, hey, what's one of the best fights in the last 5 years? That's one of them.
Absolutely.
That fight was so, especially watching it live. The shit he was getting out of. That's what I want to see about tonight. Because you figure you got Diego Lopez he's got a great record. I think he has like 25-6, but he's 12-0 via submission. So he likes to do that. He is listed as a jiu-jitsu fighter. He's not listed as a striker. So you're fighting Ortega though, who that's his best shit. He's a really good boxer and all, but like his triangle's insane. He's just on the ground. He's a wizard. Yeah. So that's where I want to see how this goes, because obviously the equalizer is just the fact that punches are whizzing by you. So you just take some shots, you're more inclined to maybe make some mistakes jiu-jitsu wise. But Ortega hasn't really shown that. You know, Volkanovski was landing shots on him, and he got out of every like that. And then he got Volkanovski in that crazy ass
guillotine.
Well, that was guillotine. Thank you. I was wondering what it was. I was trying to think of what it was. I was just picturing Volkanovski just willing himself to stay awake. He just looked like he just sitting there like it's just like that fight was great, man. But that's what I want. That's what I think intrigues me about this fight so much. Is
for sure.
If and when it goes to the ground, how's that look?
Well,
but so what do you see? Do we talk about who you thought? Are you leaning Lopez, or are you thinking Ortega has one more run in him? He definitely does. It's whether he is able to do it.
Well, well, me and you both have been high on Lopez for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reason why we like these. The reason why I love this matchup is because how much I like both fighters. And Brian Ortega has impressed. I wasn't high on Brian Ortega for a while, and then he impressed me in that Volkanovski fight.
for sure. And the styles are going to clash because, like we talked about, their ground. That's one of their bread and butters, but it's also they're different strikers in a way. Where Ortega's a really good boxer, but he's more clean. Where I think Lopez, I think he's just aggressive.
Yeah.
So he might take some shots to give him, but he's just, if he's going to eat one or two, but he gives you that one that stops the fight, then it's like, who are you to say?
Yeah.
He's got something good going. He's an aggressive fighter. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, I think if it goes Lopez's way, which I think it will, I think it's going to be early.
Yeah, I could see him stopping him. That's kind of like I know Ortega's not easy to stop, but I think if you woke up and you didn't watch the fight and you're like, oh, Lopez stopped him, I would think it's probably with strikes. I wouldn't think it's a submission.
Yeah,
so,
and I think that's what's going to happen. I
agree.
I would take the under on this one.
I did pick it by submission. I think I actually picked it by decision, but I kind of agree with your assessment, Jim. I like that. Knockout under.
Yeah, under 1.5.
Yes.
But the longer the fight goes on, it's going to benefit Ortega. But dude, see, like that's the tough one. Like this could easily be a 5-round fight, and
that's my argument. I wish these were
we
the
talked about this before.
Main event.
Yeah.
Main event of free cards.
Yeah,
I want to see 5 in this one.
I like that it's on this card though.
I love it.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't rather this be the main event of a fight night. I think it makes sense for the theme. I think it makes sense for the excitement. I don't know. I'm going Diego Lopez by TKO early second.
Okay.
Something like that. Maybe end
I'll
of the
take
first.
Lopez by decision.
Okay, yeah.
I think I think he's gonna hurt Ortega in the fight in like the first or second.
Yeah.
But just Ortega's just so tough. It's just not going to be easy to finish him. And I think he wins like a lopsided decision for the most part. Like maybe Ortega wins a round, but I think it'll be pretty clear cut.
Also, the question I was going to ask, because I didn't watch anything leading up to this. I had a busy week, like I said, but how did the weight cut go for Ortega? Because I know that was a big issue last time.
I didn't see any issues, so that's good. I know they said he got really sick.
Okay.
That last fight, so that kind of throws everything out. Whether you're weight cutting and you complete it or not, and you get stupid sick.
Yeah.
It's probably just because they just the toll on your just immune system and everything.
Yeah, I thought I was
if
under
it crashes, it goes.
I was under the impression last time that the weight cut had a big reason to do with why he was fucked up.
It's probably why he got sick. He's probably just compromised because he's probably just like on death's door for a weight cut, and he's just susceptible to probably anything. But I guess he got really sick. I don't know what it was, but that's what they said. But
well, it seems like it worked out this time, so that's good. I'm sure they changed it up. I'm sure they didn't approach the weight cut the same way. Maybe.
But Ige's going to be sitting there just in case, he said.
Oh, Ige's on deck, huh?
Yeah, he's going to be sitting right on he'll be front row. He'll already be dressed.
See, that's weird though. Why do you have the same guy?
No, I was kidding.
Oh, because Ige's already got a fight.
Yeah, he's got Murphy coming up.
Yeah,
Lerone Murphy.
Well, hopefully we won't need anybody to step in. Hopefully it seems like everything's good to go. Well, that's good. Let's talk about this next fight. These next two fights on the card. What do you think? Zellhuber
on the pay-per-view?
And Ribovics.
Oh, they're both really good. I'm leaning towards Zellhuber, but it's like one's 15-1, one's 13-1. So it's like, is there a wrong answer when you're predicting some of these fights? I've liked. See, he had a great his last. Ribovic knocked out McKinney last fight. That was a crazy one. But Zellhuber, what is he listed at? 6'1". That's a big 55 or 2. I'm leaning towards him. I just think he's going to get it done.
Well, he's the heavy favorite as well. 2-1 favorite.
Okay. I think that fight should be a little. Maybe it's right where it should be, but that's a close fight. That's why I like all these fights. They're all very much pick'ems to me, especially the next one. I like Ronaldo Rodriguez. Yeah, that's a good matchup, man. I'm leaning towards him, but Ode Osborne's had, he's been in the UFC for a bit, so his record might be deceiving, but it's against, he's fighting top talent.
Yeah,
But he does back-to-back sub losses though, Jim. So,
he needs to win this one.
But Rodriguez is 5-0 with subs, and his last win was via sub, so that could be something to watch. Rodriguez by sub, Jim. I'm just looking for a little.
Sounds right.
Getting a little parlays going, Jim. I'm trying to win some scratch tonight, dude. But so who do you like Zell Huber in that one as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like as far as this one though? Rodriguez Osborne.
Well, I think you have to.
Who you leaning?
You have to go Rodriguez by sub.
He's looked good, dude. Yeah, I might do that. You know what? That's a good idea, Jim. But look at these fights, man. There are so many pick'ems.
Yeah,
you have to go down.
Aldana
and Norma Dumont.
That's gonna be a good fight.
I like Aldana. She's a really good. I like her box.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Big striker. But same Dumont's she's also like a big physical fight. That's gonna be a fun fight. Kind of see how that one goes. The next one's one of the ones that I was alluding to in the prelims. This one's also my sneaky.
Give us your thoughts on that one. That's a pick'em if I've ever seen one.
God, dude, Manuel Torres and Ignacio Baja-Mendez is going to be such a good fight. I can't wait to see that one. But before we get into that one, did I tell you about I guess Baja-Mendez's little brother?
No.
Okay, so supposedly I don't know his first name. I'll have to look it up. But he has a younger brother who is, I believe, 15. So he might be 16 by the time he fights next. But I think they said he's 15, 16. Say he's 5-0 as a pro. And I believe he's fighting a grown man in his 30s for a title coming up. So it's like, think of that rub, Jim.
Were they talking about this on something else?
Somewhere I heard it. I heard it on something. I don't know where.
I think I did hear about this.
Oh, you know who it was? I think it was Bilal Muhammad that said it in that podcast.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Because he trains with Baja-Mendez. That's why he was like, when they were talking about Leon Edwards and all, he's like, this guy's, he's right. Baja-Mendez he's a big striker, but it's also different than Leon, I think. But I knew what he meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it came from. But dude, imagine that. So it's like you figure if he wins that fight, it'll be 6-0, and then then what do you do? He's going to keep fighting until you're what, 18, 19? Then are you ready then, or are you going to wait till it's like some of these guys, and there's other guys like that. There are so many kids like that, like say in Brazil, like 14 or 15 that are already fighting professional.
Well, look at, another fighter tonight, Rojas Jr. How old is he?
Yep, there you go. Yep. You figure when
he's
what
19?
Is he now? Let's
19?
19 now. Yeah, he's 19 now. You figure what, he was 18 when he won, or was he 17 when he won the Contender Series?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was 18, but either way.
Okay. Dude, yeah. But
yeah.
That's
if you're that good, you're beating people. Why not? Why not change it up and be the youngest UFC fighter? Bring some eyes to you. Look at Rojas Jr., what he's done. I think a big reason why he's gotten the push is because of how young he is, and he's fighting on the Sphere card. So, I don't know. If you're 16, 17, jump in there,
awesome.
make some money, and beat up some adults.
Yeah, he's gonna fight a 33-year-old man with 4 children, and he's gonna beat his ass. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who he's fighting, but this man has 4 kids, 2 dogs. I think his name on this. He's got a mortgage, dude, and 15-year-old kid rides in on a bicycle and beats his ass.
He's got life insurance.
He's got real problems, real issues in life.
Oh, that's funny.
Like I said, this kid probably had McDonald's for lunch, and he just shows up and just whoops his ass, dude. But with that said, though, I'm honestly gonna pick Torres to win. Baja-Mendez can easily win and get it done, but it's more so how much I like that dude Manuel Torres a lot.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
What I like about him is he's one of those. That's what I like about the aggressive strikers who, if they hurt you, they don't necessarily follow with strikes. They might follow with some, but I like how he goes for submissions in those, because that's when someone's cloudy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of like that, probably both our favorite one. That one where Cowboy like stung Edson, dropped him, and then
Oh,
but next thing you know, he's on his back.
oh, that
It's
was
like
amazing.
that's when you go for submissions, I think, because it's like they can defend when they're clear headed, but when they're in those, like when they're stung and they're kind of wobbly, that's
Yep.
when I'd grab a neck.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's what I like about him. But the tough. It's anytime you're fighting a guy at 55 that's 6'3", there might be an adjustment. So we'll see how that goes too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
There's not much of a reach advantage, surprisingly. It's 75.5 versus 73 for Torres. So you figure it might have been a little more, but that's pretty good for Torres then. He didn't look that much smaller than him, honestly, at the weigh-in when I saw them go face to face.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you know what's
that's my
sick
one
too?
there, Jim.
I loved that they did the whole press conference and the weigh-ins outside.
That was cool.
That
Right
was
behind the
so
sphere,
cool,
huh?
man.
Yeah, that's really cool. That was a good idea. But man, that would have been cool just to be out there for that. Just those pressers and shit and
Dude, yeah.
the weigh-in. Man, I'll never forget how crazy that weigh-in was in Vegas. That one for I think it was McGregor when he fought. It was supposed to be Aldo, but it was when Aldo originally got hurt, and it was Mendez. That weigh-in was insane. Like they're not even here to fight, and the crowd was so crazy. It was a crazy crowd, and then it peeled out into the casino, and they're doing all the chants.
Yeah,
That was that's what I liked about the McGregor run mostly, was just like just a rabid fan base behind it. It was kind of cool. It was like the first time you really saw that in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the ones are a little different when it's like a name like Ronda. It's a little different than a whole country just traveling around with a guy.
I know, that's nuts. Yeah.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
You see like the ticket sale when it was like 3,000 or whatever it was. Irish fans bought tickets. Yeah, it was just cool. That was, like I said, that just the atmosphere of weigh-ins. I'm kind of curious why people don't like it more. It's pretty awesome. You see a lot of people don't go to them.
Yeah, it's a great time.
And they're
man.
free to the public, man. They're free. So
I thought you had to have a ticket. No, that you can go in.
I think a lot of them are free. I think when they know they're probably not going to get to capacity, but I think with these big fights, they have to do the tickets because you can't deny people that bought tickets.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's probably why they do that. But there's certain other ones where they probably know they probably won't fill up. I think they do open that. I thought they did.
Well, I bet you the outdoor one, anybody could go to that.
Right, that's all. Yeah,
that would be cool.
You're already outside.
Because originally we were planning to go this weekend to Vegas to see considering how expensive the tickets were to this event, we were just going to go post up at some cool bar in Vegas and watch the show. And that still would have been awesome. Just considering, like, because I know there's a couple Instagram accounts that we follow on the Instagram that people are there right now, like just going to see, maybe not going to the event, but doing something similar to what we were talking about.
That's cool.
And and considering Canelo's fighting in the same city and all that down the street, it still would have been an awesome. Yeah, it would have been a great time to go as well. But I like what we're gonna do.
I like what we're doing better.
End of October. Better card.
As much as it would have been amazing to be there, right? Of course.
Yep.
But it's also going to be amazing watching it on TV. As crazy as that. I mean, just the presentation.
And it's like the weekend we're going, you have a better card, way better card. You have it's a daytime card, so we can still hang out in Vegas that night. We got football all the next day. Dude, it's perfect. If we want to go to a hockey game, we can. If we want to go to the Raiders game, we can. Yeah, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna develop this entire character that I have a mortgage on the line for all these games we're gonna put money on in the fights and stuff. I'm gonna be telling everybody that. I'm gonna be like, I'm like, my wife won't even take me back, but I'm not even gonna have a house to go back to.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna tell people.
You can just put up your house key, be like, this is on the line this weekend. Here we go.
I'm eating my shorts over here. Just say something crazy. It doesn't even
wear a ring and tell people like this is on the line too. Yeah. That's it.
This is all I'm gonna have. This is all I'm gonna have as a memory of how much I fucked this up.
And then when people ask me like, this is my first time in Vegas. I've never been here. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. I just developed this insane gambling habit in the last 24 hours. That'd be so funny.
Jesus.
But no, we'll make safe bets, and we encourage
Yeah.
everyone to do the same.
Yeah.
Small bets. That's what I like to do.
Responsible betting. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody,
Hell
don't
yeah.
get crazy.
If you don't have it, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. It's not
Because I fought it for a while. 'Cause for the longest time, they acted like people betting on fights or sports was so bad, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey guys, now everyone can," and they were like too pushy with it. I was like, that's why I fought it for so long. I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
You guys would made it such a big deal before, and now all of a sudden you want us to. So I take our money, sons of bitches.
All right, Dan, let's wrap it up there. Good hour and a half episode. I appreciate it. Dude,
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
Sphere's finally here. We've been talking about it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's watch some the Valentina fight. Let's gear up for tonight's fight.
That's what I'm gonna do now. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do now.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
And I forgot. I lost my train of thought on that. But plus it's just always the posts are always so much more fun for me. Like the reaction one, I love talking about what because we don't know. We're just kind of throwing out. I could see it going like this. I could see it going like that. But it's just so much better talking about, this is what happened, and this is who looked great, and this is I like that. Then we could pick fights after that. Like who's next? I like doing that.
Yeah, me too.
That's one of my favorites. So
and we could do that tomorrow
looking
morning,
forward to
man.
it, man. Hell yeah, dude. Sounds good.
Before
I can't
football.
wait. But dude, look at that. The next 24 hours is gonna be wild.
Well, yeah. I mean, dude. I'm in Oregon, so at 12:30, and you should watch this if you have time or care. You have the Ducks against the Beavers. Civil War.
Yes, I did see that. My dad might watch that.
Yeah,
that
and
was
it's
the
going to
game
be
he was
good
circling.
because the Ducks don't look as good as they're supposed to look.
Nope.
And the Beavers look great.
Squeaked by. That's awesome. All right,
and
I'll watch a little bit of that.
It's at home for the Beavers. It's in Corvallis, so I'll be watching that at noon-ish. So
another good one to watch is BC. They're taking on Missouri, who's like number 6. But BC's they've already shut down some teams.
Yeah, they
like
beat
we were talking about
Florida State. Yep.
They beat Florida State, who was supposed to be one of the teams this year, and so that's a cool one too. I'll watch a little bit of probably both of those.
What time is that?
But that one I think that one's already on. Let's see. What that'd be funny. I go there and I'm like, oh, Jim, Missouri's up 32-0. But no, let's see. There you go, 17-14, Missouri.
Ooh,
And
close
it's about
game.
halftime. So I'll watch the second half of that.
Oh, I'll watch that too.
Kind of want to see BC, man. I heard they're pretty good.
Yeah. Well.
But and the one you mentioned is, I figure starts in about an hour and a half. So that game will be getting going when BC Missouri is just about ending, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or right around there. So that's perfect. That's
Cool.
probably what I'll do.
All right, man.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
wrap it up. For anybody listening still after a long episode, we appreciate your support. If you want to follow us on Instagram or on our YouTube channel, you can subscribe to either of those at Pinnacle_combat. We post all these episodes on Instagram. We post our picks and some hot takes sometimes on fights on Instagram. I try to post videos on our story every day. I try to be as diligent as possible on breaking news and breaking fights and stuff like that. So give those a follow. And we'll be back tomorrow with a post. I can't wait for tonight's card, and I can't wait to see what Dana White and the guys have done as a production for this whole thing. But we thank you for listening. Thank you, Dan, as always, for calling and talking to me.
Chihuiwi, Jim.
Chama.
Your little Rojas Jr. Oh yeah, that's funny.
All right, well,
But it's funny when people go like, "Why did he do that?" I'm like, "He's 19. That's why he does that." Like he's just a 19-year-old kid just being 19.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry to cut you off, but no, I can't wait. I can't wait for this card. It's great.
All right, well, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right, sounds good. See you.